Hey guys, we are back with season 13, episode 9 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This episode was called The Hostess with the Least-est. And if there was an award for worst hostess, Kenya, you have earned it several times over. My. What's that song? My. You can't host nothing right. I'm not going to be messy, I promise. All right, so I have my notes. Hopefully you guys have yours and you are ready. First off, I hope everybody is safe because there's this winter storm going through the East Coast here. If I'm looking out the window, everything in my neighborhood is literally iced over right now. Luckily, I already went down to the Aldi's on Sunday and got my all my groceries, so I ain't got to go out for nothing. Anywho, let's get started. Kenya not playing the game with the girls. At this point on the trip, Kenya, whenever I think you can't go worse, you do. So at this point, you made that lame joke at the table talking about how, let's play the game, y'all. Let's all get on our jammies and go to bed. But that's literally exactly what you did, Communication was key. Communication is so key. And I said that in the last video, and I said that in the video prior to that. Kenya, if you had just communicated to these girls your situation, they would have rallied around you. But the fact that you're always doing these things to them, not explaining anything, and then trying to backpedal after the fact is why you keep ending up with the results that you do. I'm glad that they, finally just, they got fed up with it. They had the little group meeting and Portia was leading it and she was like, listen, we all have things going on in our lives respectively. And the fact that there's such a double standard and Kenya is putting her feelings and what she's going through above everyone else's without giving anybody else the chance to have that forum or platform as well is ridiculous. And so, like I said before, communication is key. If you do not communicate with people, and you just expect them to, know by osmosis or, you want them to be psychic or telepathic to read your mind and, give you just carte blanche to do whatever you want. It doesn't work that way. Continuing on, Kandi calls Kenya out on her bad hostessing. Good. It needed to happen. Someone had to call Kenya out on it, and Kandi was the perfect person to do it, and I will tell you why. If Kenya had gotten called out at that point by anybody else in the group, it would have gone nuclear at that point because Kenya is already on the defense with these girls and she thinks that they are coming for her no matter what. And so you put anybody else in that situation to sort of call Kenya out on her stuff and she would have gone nuclear. When it comes from Kandi, as Kandi is the OG and Kenya knows that at her core, Kandi is on her side and means well for her, instead of getting angry, she got teary-eyed and it came the theatrics with the tears and Kandi, I don't have enough help like you. I don't have multiple assistants and this, that, and the third. I don't like when people try to feign brokenness when there are clear demonstrations to the contrary in their actions, okay? And I'm a very rational person. I will ride with you if you are right. If you give me enough evidence, I will be on your side. I will be there for you. But the minute she said that I don't have enough money to do X, Y, Z, I just started instantly rolling my eyes because you cannot take a private jet from Atlanta to Isle of Palm, South Carolina, and then cry broke. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Conceptually, it does not work. And because I am a person who deals with facts and figures, I went to the internet on this, y'all. So I went to NetJet's website. NetJet says that you can rent a smaller jet, a jet on the smaller side, for about $1,300 to $3,000 per flight hour. A medium-sized jet would be about $5,000 to $8,000 per flight hour, right? I did my research. Okay, went down to my Trivago, my Expedia, all those little travel websites or whatever. From Atlanta, Georgia to Isle of Palm, South Carolina is 45 minutes flight time, which means from a business perspective, they would just round it up to the hour. So in effect, at the highest point, Kenya would be charged from $3,000 to $8,000 for that 45-minute rounded up to an hour flight. You cannot tell me that if you can pay up to $8,000 to fly an hour from Atlanta to South Carolina, that you cannot dish out, I don't know, an extra $1,000, an extra $2,000 for a nighttime nanny. And Kenya's like, you can't work people 24 hours a day. That is true. There are labor laws against that. But I have 2 points. Number one, you pay somebody enough, you can make them do about damn near anything, okay? That is the damn truth. But, okay, in a reasonable mindset, if you have up to $8,000 to pay for a 1-hour private chartered flight, okay, you have enough money to bring along a second nanny to do the night shift. There's no reason that you couldn't do that. I totally understand you don't want to work one nanny 24 hours, not a problem. Hire a second one. The broke conversations don't work when you're showing people the contrary and then trying to play on their intelligence. It doesn't work, Kenya. It doesn't. And that's why Kandi was rolling her eyes throughout that whole conversation, because everybody in the group has stuff they're going through, and no one's issues, even though they feel it at the time, no one's issues are more important than anyone else's. And like I said, communication is key. You have to communicate. So communicate and don't feign brokenness. Don't play on people's intelligence. Crying about Mark and the divorce, that's boring. I'm moving past that. Ralph and Drew. We're going to take a minute, just a minute, okay? Somebody can time me. I'm probably going to be like a minute 30 on it. I do not want to spend a whole bunch of time on Ralph and Drew, because I told y'all in the last videos that because they glossed over all of their issues to get past once Ralph's father died, that they just put a Band-Aid essentially on all the things that they're going through, you know? And it sort of reared its ugly head when, you know, Drew's having the FaceTime with Ralph, and he's talking about how, you know, they're closing on the house unexpectedly, and you know, I hired movers and we're moving people and all the, I was like, and Drew is like, what do you mean you're moving? Like, I'm on vacation. Why couldn't you wait till I got back? And on the surface of it, it may seem like it's just an innocent gesture, something nice to do, something sweet to do so that you don't have to deal with the stress of moving while you're away. For me, because of their history and how Ralph operates, it seems like a form of control, if that makes sense. It's sort of like, you have to beware people that when you're in relationships with them, people that are always trying to take all of the money decisions away from you, or the larger financial decisions away from you, and they just want you to be like preoccupied with other stuff, you know? Money is a form of control, and I don't know the I guess the income distribution between Ralph and Drew in terms of who makes more or who controls it, but from just the outside looking in, it looks like Ralph is the one that controls the finances, and Drew wants to be more vocal in it, but is put in this sort of lesser position because either Ralph outtalks her or she doesn't feel like having the argument. I think it's a huge problem that she's communicated to him multiple times that she wants to be involved, you know? She wants to be involved in the house purchase. She wants to be involved in the deal. She wants to be involved in the sale. And then he pulls this by, you know, going behind her back, essentially hiring a moving company and getting it all done while she's away. So like I said, on the surface, it seems like an innocent gesture. Going a few layers underneath, it seems like another, it's a very light form of control, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if this shows up later as an issue between them in therapy, but you just gotta watch out. You have to watch out. Stay on top of your business. Don't let people overtalk you, and realize that even in a relationship, when you're with somebody, and even if you're the female and you're in a relationship with the man or whatever, you still have as much right to inquire about your finances and things that affect you as a couple as he does, you know? So never feel like, you know, because he's the man, he needs to take charge of it. Yes, he should take charge of it, but they always say, and this is just in heterosexual relationships, because, you know, I'm gay, I don't really know 100% of how they work and whatever, but from the church that I sat through, you know, as a child, ikorobo shata, so that took me back for a second. If the man is the head, right? The man is the head and the woman is the neck. You cannot move your head without your neck. And so if you take that to heart, you should be able to find a way to interject yourself into the important decision that you're making as a couple and be able to get your point across without it being combative, hopefully. I hope that was like a minute 30. It might have been more. I'm not sure at this point. Moving on, Drew complains about the energy of the trip, and sort of like the fakeness that's going on. All I have to say to this is, girl, welcome to the Housewives. Like, this is what the show is built on, okay? You fight one day, you laugh the next, you cry the next after that. And so if that's going to be a sticking point for you, girl, you ain't going to make it on these Housewives shows. Because, listen, at the core, the shows aren't scripted, but there are people in the back end producing the show, right? You cannot mess up your bag by being so mad about something that happened the prior day that you can't film the next day, because time is money, okay? So what, Candy hipped you to, and what all these girls are trying to hip you to, is that yes, you may be mad with somebody, you might have an issue with them, but you get over it for the time being to shoot the scene, to move the story forward, to get your money. Do not channel Nene Leakes, okay? Do not channel Nene Leakes and stay mad, refuse to film with people, and mess up your bag, okay? It only messes you up in the end. So all I have to say to that, Drew, is, girl, welcome to the Housewives, and you can't tell me, being a fan of the Housewives before you got on it, that you didn't realize this is how they operated, okay? In order to be a housewife, you need to be able to stick and move. Get over things, put them on the back burner, and discuss them at the reunion. That's where it counts. Moving on. Breonna Taylor moment. I thought it was very, very powerful. And I'm glad that they were able to film the show during that time just to get their authentic reactions to what was happening. Portia's reaction was just very, very heartwarming, very touching. How she broke down about the verdict that was read. I thought it was interesting getting Tanya and LaToya's take on it, being Canadians, because sometimes you forget that the whole civil rights movement and all of the slavery and everything that happened to African Americans in the past was sort of a US-centric thing at the core, if you think about it. And so even though Canada is our neighbor to the north, they didn't have these same kind of problems, And so getting their perspectives on it, and just their unique viewpoints in terms of how they view it as sort of outsiders, even though they are part of the larger African American community, was very interesting. And so maybe they'll touch on that later. I think it's a very interesting topic to just discuss further, in terms of Black people outside of the US and their relationship to slavery and civil rights versus people that, Americans or, American-based people who either went through it or through their historical family relationships have gone through it. But moving on. The ladies sit down to dinner, which you already knew was going to be a problem. Kenya tried to redirect and blamed it on her being a single mother. Listen, Kenya spent this whole entire episode trying to backpedal. That's all she tried to do. It was trying to backpedal, distract, put up smoke screens, cry, whatever she could do to try to get people off the scent of, at the core, everything that happened was Kenya's fault. Everything that happened. And so I'm just glad that, even at the table, the girls were just like ordering appetizers, doing stuff on their phone, because you're not making any sense and you're playing on people's intelligence. And it just was a bad look all around. I just feel like if there's a way for Kenya to sort of, backpedal further out of this, take responsibility. Actually, no, we're not going to backpedal. We're going to active pedal. We're going to forward pedal into the issue. There are two main ways to get out of issues when you have them. Either you argue yourself out of them, right? Which clearly Kenya is not successful at and the girls are not featuring. Or you take responsibility for it and you move forward, which is the option that she should take. But you have to do it in an authentic way, or else, once again, you play on people's intelligence. Kenya basically starts saying that, there's double standards. She's not giving the girls the same chances, or the girls are saying that they're not being given the same chances as Kenya is having. And Kenya's like, y'all need to step up and be my village, The problem that I have with that is people can't stand up and be your village if you don't give them the opportunity to do so. And that goes back to communication. I don't even know how many times I can say it. Communication would have solved this whole problem, but because you didn't communicate and you just operated off of, you know, they'll be okay. They'll figure it out. I don't have to explain anything to them. You just let people feeling, you know, down about it and feeling a certain way, and you allow those emotions to sort of stew, and then you have the blow up that you had. And so at the end of it, Kenya did give a sort of flippant apology, and I didn't like it. I don't really like flippant apologies. Either apologize sincerely or don't apologize at all. But the whole sort of, you know, if you were mad, you know, if I offended you, or if you felt a certain kind of way, then I apologize for, you know, it wasn't really my intention. That's not an apology. And that doesn't feel good as a person receiving it, because like I said, if you had explained your whole situation going forward to these girls, Kenya, they would have rallied behind you and they would have become your village, but you didn't give the people the opportunity to do so, and this is the result that you get. So from the way the dinner ended, it seemed like the girls were on a relatively good space and people were just trying to just go along to get along, and okay, at least she gave some form of an apology, we can move forward. And so based on that, it looks like they're going to be able to enjoy, you know, the thought fest that's going to resume later once they get back to the house with the stripper that's coming, Bola. I'm very excited. I already bought my outfit. I'm very, very mad. I bought a ball gag. It got lost in the mail, a ball gag, and I also bought a what do you call it? One of those wire mesh masks. Amazon says that it got lost. In my opinion, somebody down to the Amazon factory scanned it to my package, or maybe it opened up, you know, by itself or whatever, saw the wonderfulness that was up in there and decided to keep it for themselves. So it's fine. I still have I still have the whips, I still have the chest harness, and I still have the face masks. So all is not lost, children. Anywho, I think that's all I had to say on this episode. So if you liked what I said, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at DatDamnDasher, and I will see you guys next week for the next review, which is the stripper review. And I can promise you it's going to be something that you've never seen from me before. Probably have never really seen on YouTube before. I don't know. I don't want to make that claim. I don't want to hype it up and then it like falls flat. But as you can see, I'm in my workout gear right now. I'm trying to get my chest right so that, you know, it's going to show up well on this camera. And we'll make it do what it do. But anyway, guys, thanks for checking out my review. And I will see you guys later. Bye.